Candace, come on out. Mustafa had enough. Candace tried to stop him, but no avail. Leave my wife be, yelled Mustafa. Boy, get back in that house and send Candace out, retorted Master Jake. I own both of your black asses, and I do as I please with my property, you black spit. And Candace pulled Mustafa back in and said, it'll be alright, baby. It'll be alright. I love you. So she went on down to the cabin with Master Jake. 2 days later, Master Jake got some really bad news. He owed quite a bit of money to lenders, and he would have to sell some of his property and lay some people off. He called for a meeting of all slaves and foremen. The meeting was held at the big White House outside, of course. Once everyone had assembled, Master Jake stepped out. I'm afraid I have some bad news. I have to sell a lot of my property. As of tomorrow, a lot of you will no longer be here, foremen included. Everyone left the meeting shaking their heads. The foreman could go find new employment, but the slaves, that meant a great deal of them would be sold, and not necessarily to the same place. They were scared. Mustafa was no exception. After working all day in the fields, Mustafa and his family got together for dinner. After dinner, everyone got ready for bed, and all of a sudden, that mean old Master Jake showed up. Candace! I gotta get one for the road. Mustafa jumped up. I can't take it no more. I can't take this no more. He went outside. Master Jake, leave her alone. Leave her be. God Almighty, help me. Mustafa was knocked down to the ground. A couple of Master Jake's foremen whipped Mustafa until he passed out from pain. Master Jake then went in to see Candace to satisfy his urges. When he finished, he had left. Candace gathered herself and went outside and gathered her husband. He was a complete mess. They had beaten him badly and then poured liquor on his wounds. She nursed him as many times as she could before she fell asleep. The next morning, Mustafa still beat badly. Come on, Mustafa, get your ass out. We gotta go plow the field. He kissed Candace and rubbed the kids on their heads and slowly walked out the door. He crawled into the wagon and off they went. They rode for a couple of hours before they finally came to a stop at this big old field by the lake. Mustafa had never been to this place before, but as usual, it didn't matter. He started plowing. Come on, mule, come on, mule, erase my pain. Come on, mule, come on, mule. I'm going insane. In the meantime, Master Jake and one of his foremen left. They didn't get back till much later that day. Mustafa crawled into the wagon and off they went for home. They drove Mustafa to his doorstep. He went inside and it was very quiet. He called out for Candace, but there was no reply. The kids weren't around either. Mustafa ran back outside. Master Jake was still there. I sold your whore and them little monkeys, he replied. Mustafa dropped to his knees and cried out, help me, Jesus! Help me! Master Jake left him right there. The next morning, the foreman came back to pick up Mustafa. Mustafa came out and crawled into the wagon. He had slept just for 30 minutes that night. He laid in the wagon and began to sing. When he got back to the field where Master Jake was already there. "Sleep all right now last night, boy?" he said to Mustafa. Mustafa didn't answer. He went right to plowing. After a couple of minutes, he stopped. "Get back to work," the foreman yelled. Mustafa walked over to the edge of the lake and looked into the sky and sung again and jumped into the lake. Master yelled, "Get him! Get that nigger!" The foreman replied, "I can't swim." Master Jake jumped into the lake. But he was so weak, he couldn't contain Mustafa. But he grabbed on, and both went down into a watery grave. Mustafa and Master Jake perished. That was a very sad story, Mark explained. But I don't get it. Why did Mustafa kill himself? Now, if that was me, I would have tried to find my family. "Just a minute," said Buddy Green. Back in those days, you couldn't just leave the plantation and go search. You would have to run away. That could a lot of times get you killed if you get caught. The best thing you could have did was escape to the north. Besides, you didn't even know where your family was sold. Or were they sold as a unit or split up? On top of that, where would you search? Where would you begin? "I would have died trying," said Mark. "That's exactly the point I'm trying to make to you, young man. There's no sacrifice too much for the sake of family. So let me tell you, make a serious effort to become your woman's best friend, no matter the cost. Because once they're gone, they're not coming back. Take it from an old fool. And if my name ain't Buddy Green, I wouldn't give you no bad advice. I have to go home now, buddy, and I thank you and God bless you." And he walked home with a renewed pep in his step. And as for Buddy, he can still be found sitting on that crate outside giving out bits of advice to all the young bloods and everybody who got an ear to listen.